Dear viewers, many investors keep complaining that they were not very successful in their investment journey. They keep giving reasons for their failure. The bank interest rates are down, stock markets collapse, rupee collapse, the commodities are expensive, and so many other things. But is it the real reason behind their failures to succeed in the investment journey? The answer is no. The real reasons for their failure are their habits. In this episode, I am going to discuss 4 habits of investors which go against them in their investment journey. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, practicing financial planner.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Be it the investment journey or anything that you want to achieve in life, the success depends on the habits that you have inculcated in your life. If you are saddled with some habits which are going against this success, the only option that you have in front of you is to change these habits consciously. Unless you change these habits consciously, the chances of you hitting success in anything is a remote possibility. I am going to talk about those habits of those investors which can work against them. For today's episode, I have listed here 4 major habits which might go against them. Let's look at them one by one. Habit number 1, indiscipline. If you are a person who is indisciplined, whatever you try to do, you can be reasonably certain that you will not hit success. Success demands discipline. It literally demands discipline. You set out to do something or achieve something, you draw up a plan, then you have to meticulously go in this particular plan. If you abandon your plan, you think you are going to do certain thing and you do not do it, or you don't stick to the timeline, then the outcome will not be as expected. The starting point for any investor to hit success is to create a budget. How much do I earn? How much am I spending? How much I am able to save? If I start to invest, how much of money I have to save? If my saving is not sufficient enough, from where will that extra saving come from? Will I increase my earnings or will I reduce my expenses? Which heads of accounts I can reduce my expenses and create saving? Once you do this budget, then you have to be very disciplined and you should stick to your budget, and then you should start saving that money. If you don't save and you still keep over saving, or if your earnings do not match with what you have planned for, then any plan that you get into cannot be funded as you originally expected. So discipline becomes very essential for you to stay on the plan. If you are indisciplined, the first thing that you have to do is inculcate an habit of discipline. Discipline is not just about budgeting, what I earn and what I save. Once you start something, let's say that you start an SIP. SIPs are long-term plans for you to invest in a methodical, systematic way to create wealth over longer periods of time. What if you start an SIP today and 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, you stop it? Then the intended benefits of this systematic investment plan will not come to you. Systematic investment plans will help you by averaging out the cost. You will ride the market's upside, you will also ride on the downside of the market. If you stop these SIPs within a short period of time, then you will not get the benefits of downside of the market. So your original intended results will not follow if you become a victim of this indiscipline. Another type of indiscipline is, now let's imagine that you decided to invest in 4 different mutual fund schemes. After some time, you see that these mutual fund schemes are not moving up. 6 months passed, 1 year passed, markets are in a stagnant mode or markets are moving in a downward direction and they do not show a great return. Now you suddenly decide, no, this fund is not performing, so I will stop this particular fund and I will try to invest in something else. This is a part of indiscipline. See, you have to understand when you are investing, the stock markets do not give you returns on a day-to-day basis. They will give you return as a long-term basis. Anything could happen in 6 months, 1 year. if you are guided well, or if you have done your due diligence and you have picked up that particular scheme, because over a longer period of time it will perform. Now if you get into a self-doubt and stop investing into this plan, it will work against you. So you should avoid this type of indiscipline. So you should avoid this kind of a decision which makes you abandon the schemes. Likewise, many people get into some ULIP policies or some kind of an insurance policies, and somebody else will come and tell that this plan is not good, then they suddenly stop paying into these plans. Okay, you have taken a wrong decision to invest in that particular plan, but taking one another decision will not correct the first mistake. You lose the money that you have paid for into those plans. Many a times I have told many people who have come to me, doing a second mistake to correct the first mistake will be a cardinal mistake. If you continue with your original plan, probably the damages are lesser than stopping that altogether and trying to find something new. So please do not make a second mistake to correct the first mistake. Go with a disciplined approach is always beneficial to you, and it will always work out as beneficial to you. So you have to conquer discipline if you have to be successful in your investment journey. The second habit which goes against the investors is a habit called analysis paralysis. They want to do something, they research around it, they meet a financial planner or they meet an advisor, they go, they discuss, do everything, but they will not take decision. When it comes to question of taking a decision, they feel a paralysis that is coming in. So they keep analyzing. They find out whether it is right or wrong. They find out whether that suits them or not. They find out where their finances are, what the situation is, and they arrive at a decision, but they do not implement the decision. It is called analysis paralysis. They are always in some kind of a doubt. Why does analysis paralysis happens? Analysis paralysis happens because you are trying to find a perfect solution. A perfect solution will not exist. It is always relative, based on the situation, based on the situation of the day, based on your current situation. You have to take a decision. You can only optimize a solution. It is not possible to make a perfect solution. It is impossible to get the highest return. It is impossible to buy at the lowest possible price. If you are selling at the highest level, the market will come down from there. But is it possible to sell at the highest level? The moment you try to sell, the market will come down. So it's technically not possible for everyone to sell at the highest possible point. Likewise, when the buying comes, the market will move up. So it's just technically not possible for you to buy when it is at the lowest. So the investors who try to find a perfect solution will never find a perfect solution. You have to swim with the current. You can't wait for the waves to stop and then think about swimming in this. You should think about optimum solution. If you are an investor, you should think how much of return I should get. The current bank rates are 5%, 6%. Against the 5%, 6% opportunity that I have, how much rate of return I should get. So if your research shows that you can get 8, 9% or 10% or 12%, if that is acceptable to you, you should not be worrying about getting a high rate of return and waiting for that situation. Rather, you should take a decision at this point of time. Another problem why analysis paralysis happens is the investor wants everybody's permission or everybody's approval. It's just like, you walk into a clothes store, buy a dress, it appeals to you, you wear it, you go to a trial room, see yourself in the mirror, it looks nice. Then you come outside, show it to a friend or show it to your spouse, and they make a comment on it, and suddenly your decision changes. Situation in investment world is not something different. So you meet a financial planner, he tells you a solution, he makes a plan for you, then you go and ask a friend of yours or a colleague of yours, and he will tell with his limited knowledge or without any knowledge, he passes some comment and you get into a self-doubt. Now if you have met a financial planner, his advice is a responsible advice. He advises you based on the current situation, he advises based on analysis of what's happening in your life. Now if you go and ask for an advice from a friend or a neighbor or a colleague or somebody else, it is an advice without responsibility. So it's impossible for you to convince each and everyone. You can convince a professional, you can convince a person who has knowledge, you can convince yourself based on the situation which you know of. But if you think I have to convince each and everyone, That will not happen. So if you have to take an opinion, take the opinion of people who matter in your life or people who have knowledge in this life. So if you try to convince each and everyone, that they will never come in your life. So do not become a victim of analysis paralysis. Just don't try to find a perfect solution. Don't try to find a perfect day to invest. Instead, optimize and take a plunge. If you are still doubtful, the better way to handle a situation is take a decision, take small steps and move ahead. Don't become a victim of analysis paralysis and do not remain where you are without taking a decision. I still remember one person who came to me several years before. So we sat in front, I did a fact find with him and I gave him a solution. And I told him he has to report back to me within 7 days with his answer, because I don't want somebody to take a decision immediately right in front of me. This gentleman never took a decision. I kept on following with him and he said, I am analyzing should I invest in stock market or should I invest in the mutual fund? Should I invest in a bank FD in India or should I invest in a bank FD outside of India? And those dilemmas never end. And we were talking when the Sensex was at 18,000, even at 62,000, even in today's time, this gentleman has never taken a decision. The opportunity will not wait for anyone if you are trying to take excessive time. A third habit which can go against you is the habit of chasing the return. I want to invest in the best. I want to invest in what's currently in fashion. Mark my words, anything which is in fashion will not earn you money. If it is in fashion, it means it has already caught the fancy, it has run through the up move, the next move will be a downward move. So don't try to chase the return. Likewise, when I tell some people to invest in a mutual fund portfolio, they always want to know what is the past return. They want to invest only in a fund which has the highest rate of return. Your micro cap fund, small caps, mid caps, all these things will show very high rate of return. But people do not understand what problems they get into when the tide turns towards the downside. If you are trying to chase the return, then make no mistake on this, it's a loser's game. You should make rational decisions. You should arrive at what might go right, what might go wrong, accept a situation which is more optimal than to chase returns. If you are a person who is chasing the return, probably and most likely you are a person who is going to lose in your investing activity. The fourth major habit what can go against an investor is a mindset of refusing to change. Persons will have very strong beliefs. They have strong belief about everything. They have beliefs about religion, about politics, about the countries, about their officers, about their persons. Likewise, when it comes to question of investing also, people will have very strong beliefs. Some people will say, I will invest only in the bank FDs. Okay, that is the safest one. They will not even believe that the bank also can collapse. They will not believe that if they don't invest in the stock markets, it's not possible to create wealth. Wealth gets created only when you beat inflation. It's not possible for a bank FD to beat inflation all the time. Sometimes it beats, even there it is very marginal. Countless number of times, if you look at the bank FDs have returned you less than what underlying inflation is. The bank FDs have eroded wealth. But if you are a person who is stuck with the mindset of not changing, that goes against you. Only you can be advised, but to accept or not to accept is your decision. So unless you are prepared to change, your success in your investment journey will not happen. Likewise, world is a dynamic place. Things keep changing. See, for example, Indian insurance industry was dominated by Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC, for 50 long years. As a result, LIC became a household name, and there were countless people who vouched that they will invest only in LIC and they will never look back in anything else other than in LIC. In the year 2000, when the private insurance players came into the market, people refused to invest through them in the initial years. But over a period of time, you see how the private insurance industry changed the landscape of insurance industry in India. Likewise, in case of banking, so Indian banking industry was dominated by the public sector banks. But when ICICI came into the banking space, it completely changed the banking landscape. Initially there was refusal, disbelief, but today if you look at the Indian banking space, you can see the footprint of private banks. Even today the PSU banks could be having a higher business share, but the trust, but the progressive mindset of the private banking is here for everyone to see. If you look at banks like ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank, these are all the front running banks, and they have created huge investor wealth for people who have invested in them. The first thing that you have to keep in your mind is change is constant. The world keeps evolving. Evolution is rule of nature. It keeps changing. You should also keep changing with the evolving time. If you do not accept this particular change, then probably the success in your investment journey remains elusive for you. Always believe things will keep changing. When you are briefed on this side by your financial planners or by the experts in that particular field, keep searching for opportunities in that field also. Cryptocurrencies were not there. I'm not advising you to invest in a cryptos. What I'm trying to tell you is the world is changing. Mutual funds were not there 50 years before, then came the mutual funds. ULIPs were not there, then came the ULIPs. ETFs were not there, now ETFs are there. So likewise, the world is a constantly changing place. When the world is changing, it is very essential as individual, as investors, you should also keep changing. Only when you develop a mindset to trust that the change could be happening for better, then only you will become very successful investors. Dear investors, I am a financial planner. My job involves helping people reach their life goals by helping them invest in those instruments which can help them achieve their life goals. If you are a person who wants to invest in India and you want a professional assistance, you can make best use of our services. We have a team of financial planners. If you have an intention to make best use of a financial planner, all that you have to do is send us a WhatsApp message on the number shown here on the screen, and one of our team financial planners will help you build a good investment portfolio to reach your life goals. So why delay on that? Time to act is now. Send us a message now. Dear viewers, hope the episode that I have done today and the points I discussed about the 4 habits that the investors might succumb to in their investment journey helped you to understand, become a better investor. Please like this video. If you are a person who is watching this episode for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another useful topic in yet another video very, very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.